Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honors, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone for teaching this truth time and time again, showing us to be men of the Lord. The water, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. My brother Thahawam, and I was going on Instagram and I seen this. I looked up the article and just seeing, but you can just tell through the society and how people are going on and how people are and how this world is. Carl Schwab just as said that they're legalizing sexual relations with animals for inclusion because they say it's people that that were born that way to have sexual relations with animals. Now they're doing these but see, this place is changing. It's changing into a different time, a different period, and understanding, and all being set up by the devil, but mostly Yahweh Bashim Shai, because he's using these wicked for the day of evil. So look at biblical world views much closer to extinction after, C19 lockdown survey. A vast majority of Americans, 96%, 96, that's an A. That's an A plus. Come on. That's an A. Americans do not hold a biblical worldview following the C19 lockdown, according to the new survey. It caused a significant change in Americans' worldview. Cultural Research Centers, Arizona Christian University, led by research George Barna, found in this survey that the lockdown impacted the already dwindling numbers of people who claim to hold biblical worldviews. Just like people are flying out of these harlot houses, getting out these understanding, stop becoming atheists. And what did the Lord say? A fool says in his heart there is no God. This is, they said, oh man, they're getting into this. Maybe I can be a God, or maybe we're just all randomly doing it. We could just live as we will. YOLO, which is Satanism, but it's dwindling, already dwindling. And what Bana called the first national study of its kind, the incident of the innocence of biblical worldviews declined to a mere 4%, down 1/3 from the 6% record just months before the pandemic lockdown started in March 2020. And remember when right after the Passover, this hit, and it was a different level. People changed. It just, and when the C19 happened in the 2019. Happened to, it changed how people like they thought it was an end, and it was like, well, if I die, I want to die the way I want. I do, because they weren't gifted with it. They were blinded. Americans tinkle with many things due to 3 lockdown years, from home improved projects to baking sourdough bread. And it's crazy because it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread right now. But improving their worldwide apparently was not one of them, because they were going, everything's equal. This is what the Esau, the so-called white man, wanted. They get rid of the religion, which is they were teaching false doctrine anyway, because they don't really have the spirit, the biblical worldviews, which is. It's kind of funny because the U.S. Constitution was based off of biblical worldviews. The Bill of Rights was pretty much based off of like biblical ideology. And biblical worldview survey is one which entirely of persons' ideas about all dimensions of life, eternity, and based on it. They're not believing in hell. They just think but this can't stop it. What is that going to do? What is that? So now most people don't believe in it. Was the Lord said it was going. This is how we know we're in the last days. So I'm going to get that. Because these people, and these, when you don't have biblical views, because the fear of the Lord is, I'm going to get that real quick, is the beginning of understanding. When you have biblical worldviews, you really, I'm going to get it in song. This is verse 10. Psalms chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. Praise endure forever. So this is how you get understanding, how you get it. So now people are getting dumber. People are getting very, now they're forgetting. They're putting folly in it. Stop thinking about their future, but more just thinking about what their self. But the Lord said it was going to happen. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own self, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. You know why? Why this is because when that lockdown happened, now they're seeing out the women couldn't go and be whores the way they wanted. They couldn't go out to a restaurant, so they just had this self in mind. It was like, well, we can't lose this again. We can't have it. We can't do this. We can't do that. But they saying that now nobody's believing in. 96% of Americans don't have these views anymore. They're just getting, the new world order kind of worldviews. This is Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? So they won't believe in worldviews and all that stuff. 96%. You think that's going to change anything? 96%, because the Lord only needs a remnant. Verse 4, God forbid, yes. Let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written. Thou mighty be justified in thy saying, and mighty out overcome when thou art judged. So when they won't believe and they don't say they don't have these biblical worldviews, well, the Lord's just going to put them to death. That's what it's going to do, because this is what it is. This is you don't have to believe. Like, the Lord is not. I have to get this number of believers. So the Lord can do whatever He wants. He can create a whole new nation. He can just destroy all the nations and create it. Look at all these nations now were created off of the 8 people after the flood. The Lord needs nothing. So you not having a biblical, most people not having a biblical worldview, it's just prophecy. It's not changing nothing. This is Slovakia. Bear with me. Because, this is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 3. Fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So to our brothers and all that stuff, and like 96 was like, dang, we're in the truth now, and now no one believes. Well, that's beautiful. Blesses your eyes, because your eyes see, and blesses in your ears, because they hear. The Lord gave you the eyesight. So He said, fear not of the imagination they get, because now they're saying Esau or the pudding, they made it offender of the word. So now they hate. It's hate speech. Biblical worldviews is it's hate now in this society. And nowadays everyone's free. You can't even no accountability, but you fear not, and let not their incredulity, which is incredulity. You know what this word means? From Middle English, incredulity means unbelieving. See, unbelieving that easily, non that easily, not that easily believe, unbelieving. Let not that their incredulity trouble thee, and speak against thee, because they're not going to know, because it's not for them to know. It's for them to be put to death, because they're not going to understand. They don't have these worldviews. They're fools, and this is and they that have my law. So these views, these are the laws. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 11. And they that have my law, while they yet while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open upon them, understand not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. Because you said these worldviews, biblical worldviews, but these laws and understanding, it's for a reason. Because you know what? This is start at these worldviews. Second Ezra chapter 7 verse 20. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the laws of the God. These worldviews, the laws of Yahweh Shem Shai. How you supposed to understand like morality? They're taking away morality and just having these chaos, basically, because they order at chaos, just as Esau has always, because they despise the laws of God that it is set before them. For God has commanded me, has given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live. Because these worldviews, if they really follow to the T, they would be able to live and thrive, because the laws of the Lord are not grievous, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, avoid punishment. So these worldviews is helping the Lord. If they would really understand it and really follow it, it would help them for not to not be destroyed. It was prophesied Babylon the Great to be destroyed, and these people get destroyed and know by death by pain. But if the world really had worldviews, it would avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spoke against him and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, say of the most high, that he is not, and knew not his ways. But the laws have they despised, and denied the covenant, and the statutes have they not faithfulness, and have not performed his work. So you see, the Lord really don't care how these people are thinking, that the whole world has it. Don't have these world believer, these world views, because what the Lord said. Romans chapter 11 verse 7. What then? Israel has not attained which he seeketh for. Has Israel have attained it? Have they see? Everyone have wants to know the keys of life, or why is everything happen? Why do babies die and all this stuff when they're born? Or everyone's seeking for answers. And now since the pandemic, there's like, well, it's not God. We don't have this view. Well, that's because we don't read it. But the elect have attained, the ones that are doing this work, going to the highways and byways every week, week in and week out, doing these lessons, and being in the spirit of hastening the day of the Lord coming and waiting for these prophecies to be fulfilled. But the rest were blinded, according as it is written, God has given them the spirit of slumber, have they eyes that they should not see, ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David said, let their tables be made of snare and traps and stumbling blocks and recompense unto them. See? So they don't believe. Let them. The Lord blind. The Lord, the lockdown, because the lockdown was, it was a, it was it was it was fake. They wanted you to take the juicy juice, and they wanted you to give away your freedoms, and get you into the mindset they have. They even not have these biblical worldviews, blinding you. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. For I know nothing by myself, yet it's a second. Verse 4, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, in whom the God, this is verse 3, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. So these people, these 96 Americans that don't hold worldviews anymore, biblical worldviews, it's hid to them. It is hid, and then that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the mind of them which believe not. So it's like, oh, women are equal. You can be whatever you want. You can be a leprechaun or a lizard man, or you can change your child. The child can pick. He can't. He can't legally drink, or he can't legally vote, but he can operate to get his thing cut off at 4 or 5 years old, which is weird. And the world has blinded the minds of which believe not, in the God of this world, Esau. So he's putting forth, he put these lockdowns and doing these things so people can fulfill prophecy, for them to get destroyed, for all these unbelievers to be destroyed. Because the Lord put the spirit on these Edom, to blind them, whom the God of this world, because that's the God of this world, he blinded the minds of them which believe not, because they never believed, the incredulity, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach was who is the image of God, should shine upon them. Salakia. They're blinded. They have no understanding. But we, the ones, as this is happening, faith is going to flourish on the earth. This is 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. And we know that we are of God. So the ones that still have these true worldviews of the true scriptures, being taught by the elders and apostles, and getting taught by their elders, understanding and going out to the highways and byways with the 100% doctrine. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. So 96 American in the whole world, well, we know the whole world lieth in wickedness. There is a wicked world. And we know that the Son of God is come and have given us understanding. The only reason why we're not is because he has gave us understanding. He has taught the apostles back in the day, built that rock, and then he brought forth the elders to bring us back in remembrance. And as that we may know that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true, even the Son, even his son, Yahushua Mashiach. This is the true God, eternal life. Little children, keep yourself from idols. So when these they're put in this thing, this is the spirit of the world. But we're not even supposed to be like this is First John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is of the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of their eyes, and the pride of life is not the Father, but of the world. So now they don't have these world views because now they have the lust of let's party all the time, let's get drugged out, let's do this, let's do that. And that's why you can't have this, but we have the spirit of Mashiach. Because they have rejected the Lord, but the Lord never really wanted them. Because I'm going to end off with this. Because as they're fighting and doing everything possible to put forth their wickedness, so here, my bad, bear with me. This is Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 25. Whoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of their world. So the ones that not into the spirit of the world, the ones that continue to preach this word, never hold their peace, doing all this stuff, they shall escape and see the salvation. It's only with your eyes shall see the judgment of the wicked. And all the men that are received shall see it, and who has not tasted of death shall be some of you that have not tasted of me, shall not taste of death. And the heart of the inhabitants shall be other meaning, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. So you see there this fruitless error of they think that these not they don't have these uh but biblical views that it's going to change anything. But no, it's not going to do anything. The faith is still going to flourish in the earth, and the flourishing through Yahweh Shem Yahushai's men. So with that, I want to give all glory and honors and praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai by Shem Rakakodash, the water Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and Shalom.